All right, so we're gonna try to test Kimi K3, um, and this is a bit of an improvised situation, so it's gonna take a bit of time. But anyway, so what we're gonna do is make up a new project, and I have a few ideas in mind, but I'm thinking that maybe we should make some kind of agent that perhaps sets up some of these coding demos, like in 3GS or something like this. So I don't have any idea exactly what we're gonna do, but uh, so basically, let me restart. We are now in what I call Mr. Hub, but Mr. Hub is essentially um, an account that I'm using. It's a sub account as part of our sub account system, which I'm using to publish some of these blueprints. But the reality is that some of these blueprints are actually contributed by the community. So, but I'm one of those contributors. So I wanted to set up something that we can you can copy and you can explore, but that doesn't matter. So we are inside this one, and we are going to create a new example. So I'm going to use the multi-agent system here. Uh, let's call it let's call it let's call it Kimi K3 for now. Probably we need to change it in the future, but for now I'm gonna just leave it like that. And if I click on the edit button, I'm already in good place. Basically, I've got all the default setup for me, but I am going to delete them because we are not going to use these for now. So we'll start from scratch. Okay. While this is deleting, right. Okay, so let's set up an agent. So this is going to be the agent, and Kimi K is the new one. We are going to be using a skill set. It is essentially the tool belt where we're gonna construct most of the tools. What I have in mind is that maybe we can set up, maybe we need a space, and I think we need the space because we want to host this websites somewhere. So I was thinking that maybe we can build some kind of system where the Kimi K is automatically creating 3GS demos. Why 3GS demos? Because everybody on Twitter is, well, everybody on X is basically doing these demos, and that's why I thought maybe we can do them too, But unlike them, we're going to set it up such as that we do it automatically, right? So we have the space, and for this space, I'm going to manage, if you click on the manage sites, we can set up a static hosting essentially for the space. Let's use demos as the place where we're going to put all the demos inside. We'll say 3js space. Actually, do you know what? Let's call this Kimi K3 demos, right? No name. Well, actually, maybe Kimi K3 demos. Okay, why not? So we're gonna create a space in there. This is it. If I click on it, well, it's a 404 error. There's nothing in there, but that's fine. So this is basically hosted on the slash demos. Now, the next thing is that we need some tools for the agent to, do something with the space. And I think I'm going to use a pack. So the packs in CBK are essentially like a collection of abilities. So I don't have to, add them all manually. I could if I want to, from here. If I click on this icon here, I can just simply search for bash and it will give me a number of tools that I can drag and drop into the canvas. But in this case, if we just simply use this one, that will be sufficient. And notice that here we can, we have a handle. It's called connect to space, and I can just drag in and connect to that space and maybe organize it a little bit like that. And now we have if I click on this, now we have like a very basic setup where we have an agent, we have a skills, we have a space, and we're going to be storing the data in the space. Um, Obviously, we can add more tools here. We can extend this. We can connect it to third-party systems, whatever we want. But in this case, we'll keep it a little bit simple because I'm not quite sure where we're going. Now, typically when we build these agents, let's call this one, what should we call it? Demo bot. Let's call it that. Uh, Typically, when we build these agents, we need to specify a backstory, and the backstory is essentially is the system prompt. There's a little bit more to it, so it's not exactly like a system prompt, but it is essentially the initial instructions that we send to the agent. And we have a number of tools here. We can generate it automatically. We can expand it, and I can simply type in like all the instructions, suppose like a markdown rendering and all that stuff. But I'm not going to do that because I'm going to show you something else. And the way I prefer to work with this is through the agent console, which is the area that we can use for testing. And inside the agent console, we have this button here, which is called Enable Reprogramming Mode. And what does that mean? It means that if I enable this, essentially the agent will have its own abilities to change itself. So it's slightly more complicated on the back end, but effectively it saves me time constructing the agent manually. So I can simply converse with it and give it instructions and give it some feedback, and it will try to capture this into the system. And that way, I don't have to manually construct this. So okay, so let's basically kick off some conversation with Kimi. And I'm simply saying here, let's start the training process and see what happens, right? So, um, all right. So, right. So obviously, we need to give it now some instructions. So as you can see, I have a greeting here, create a skill, train yourself, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say your purpose is to create cool 3JS demos in the space under the demos folder. This folder does not exist. Okay, so again, just a simple chat. We are basically setting up the agent here. We can minimize the developer tools uh, and make changes live. By the way, I can install new tools if I want to, but in this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to allow Kimi to basically set it up for us. So let's give it a chance. Now, notice that the backstory was updated. That's because of this reprogramming mode, effectively. Now the agent is able to write its own system prompt. And if I minimize this for a second and I click on the actual agent, you'll notice that it did actually write something here, right? Which is basically the initial instructions for this demo. And now it's doing work. So it's going to set up some demos. I think it's actually trying to make a demo at the moment. We can, by the way, I mean, obviously some of these operations could take a little bit longer, so you have to wait for them. The system supports background modes and all these things, but we're doing this live at the moment, so we have to wait. But if we want to see what the agent is doing, I can simply enable the tracing capabilities. And as soon as I do that, I will start seeing, I mean, right now it's, doing a few things in the background, but as you can see here, we already start collecting some events in terms of the agent capabilities. We can also look at some of these like a live events, for example, like 23 seconds ago, it has executed the shell command. So we can see all this stuff. We have the audit trail. Again, 10 seconds ago, it has actually done a few things here as well. As you can see, I've got the usage log. Uh, if I refresh it, by the way, I don't need to click refresh. I can just simply click live and it will do this automatically. But even here, we can see like, okay, these are the tokens that we spend, all this information. So right, okay, back to the agent trace. These are some of the tracing that has happened in the background. I mean, it's not stuck, it's just doing some work. And it also has finished, which is great for us because we could see here that it has made up a simple spinning cube. Okay, so we got an index. Maybe we can browse the websites. Actually, no, these are the files. Uh, okay, a second. Ah, if something is not connected, then maybe it's not doing the work. So let me see. So the space is installed. I'll save this for now. And I'll say, okay, you should have put them in the space. I think that it just got confused here. Anyway, so we can correct this instantaneously. Once, um, you know, once basically, and that's why you are, in a reprogramming mode, it will actually change itself basically because I have, it got the location incorrect. I mean, obviously, it cannot read my mind, and so I should have specified exactly where I wanted the data to be. I didn't, and as a result of this, basically it put it in slash demos, which is not accessible because this is like a separate shell environment. But there you go. It did do something, and then it corrected the location. The location was corrected. So I'm gonna just click build, and we can click build pretty much at any given point in time. The system is fully live, so I don't have to basically wait for it to really finish doing things. I can just do this live and just basically see what's going on. Now, a very cool feature, by the way, is that in the space, obviously I can click on browse files and I can see the files. As you can see, we got a few files here, but sometimes I want to see this information live without actually touching any of these buttons. And we have a few tools here that I can use. The first one I will have is the bot statistics or the bot stats. Now, if I connect it, I will start getting some live data in terms of how many tokens I'm burning, which is kind of useful. But then also on top of that, for the space, I think that we need a file preview. Actually, not file preview, sorry. Space file browser. I think this is the one that we need. And so I'm going to connect it, and that will give me an idea of what files exist inside the space. So there you go. We have a bunch of files. We have an index file that was created. And I can now go to manage sites, click on the thing, and there you go. We got our first demo. So if I click on it, it gives me like a simple sort of spinning cube, which is nothing exciting. But it's something that we can build upon, right? We've got like a simple landing page. So let's train it a little bit. So my next feedback would be, and by the way, we can build skills, but maybe we can actually touch on this later. So because I wanted to show you the process that I'm using to build these agents, and as you can see, so far it's very iterative, so I don't have like a really clear idea where I'm going for with this sort of examples, but I can navigate the agent as I'm building them. I've also noticed something that I wanted to highlight here. You can actually see all the actions that are happening even when tracing is not enabled. I mean, we can see the tracing, but if you just wait for the agent to complete, its task. Then you can click on actions, and then you can actually inspect all of them, see the results, and so on and so forth. It's nice for debugging. We have added a lot of tools, by the way, for debugging, for changing, for observability. Typically, you have to source this from outside. You have to basically go and subscribe to a bunch of products, pay like a lot of money. In our case, this is part of the platform, and this is part of the user or the developer experience, if you like. Okay, so let me give a bit of feedback. I'll say like this uh, works, but it is. Uh, by the way, when you write the prompt, there's no actually right or wrong way to do it. I just keep it natural. Like I think that's the best way to do it. I think I find that some people are obsessing too much with like how to prompt it correctly. Frankly, I don't think it matters at all because we are simply exploring the space here. But if you're concerned about whether you're clear enough of your, whether your prompt is clear enough, you can just click on improve prompt button and it will try to rewrite it, fix errors, fix mistakes, and just make it a little bit more coherent. But frankly, it doesn't really matter. So um, the idea here is that we can make it more iterative. Now, while is it doing this, I think what would be cool is if I can set this on a autopilot, because I mean I can obviously prompt it, I can ask it to do this and that and so on, but where's the fun in that? Like nobody wants to do this anymore. So I personally have zero interest in doing that. What I wanna do is basically use the agent to find its own essentially things, to discover its own things. And the only way to do that is basically to put it into some kind of automated task. Create like an automated task around it. So we're gonna use the task, and I'll connect it to the bot and save it. And what the task does, it helps us um, essentially run a particular job on a regular interval. Now, this could be anything, for example, every 5 minutes, every 1 minute, if you like, every day, every month, doesn't matter what it is. But that essentially is what in a lot of other harnesses is called a heartbeat. So you can use it as a heartbeat effectively. Uh, and actually, let me see. Okay, still doing something here. Um, oh, it has started building like a new demo called Nebula Galaxy. Okay, that will be fun. But uh, what I'll do for the task, I'll set it up for. Now we can set up here the some of the parameters. The schedule itself can be, we can use one of those presets if you want to, but you can also create a cron job. I'll keep it disabled for now because I don't want to activate it yet. But what I like to do is just create like a simple instruction in the task. Just say wake up, and I'll say wake up and do as you please. I mean, this is what I like to do. Basically, keep it very much open-ended. I don't give it like specific instructions in terms of what needs to happen. Um, and I think this is the beauty of this system, because if you want something fully autonomous, you want it to also give it the freedom to explore the space rather than constrain it by providing like a very specific set of instructions. And I do realize this is not the most common way of using the systems. That's perfectly understandable, but that's the way I like to use them. So if I click build, now we have a task. The task essentially is to wake up and do as it pleases. And as you can see here, we've already have a new, uh, you know, a new demo. and we can actually maybe open it. And so we have demo 2 Nebula Galaxy, and let's see what it does. Okay, that's cool. Randomize it. It's fine, I guess. Uh, it's kind of cool, I guess. I'm not sure if there's any usefulness in this, but that's the beauty of it. Um, and okay, so just to demonstrate how the task works, and I think this is important. Now, tasks, they have a few interesting properties, and they will help us limit how much the agent needs to work. By default, we give it 100 iterations. This basically means 100 steps. So the agent will perform 100 steps, and if it reaches, 1,000 steps, if it reaches that threshold, then it's going to stop effectively, and it can continue on the next time when the task is executed. The max time is basically how much time we want to spend doing the task. So again, we can limit this. We can specify one of those presets, but we can also set up the some arbitrary value. The max calls is basically how many tool calls you can do. Again, we set up to something more reasonable, like 10,000, but you can set up to whatever you want. The schedule, as you know, is like when we want to do it. But also, most importantly, is the time zone. Now, I'm in London, but you might want to use a different time zone, and that actually matters, because if you are, let's say, you don't want to use like UTC if you are in I don't know, GMT +5 or something like this, because the time is going to be completely off. So as you can see, so far we have spent 57,000 tokens just for 2 demos. And of course, we spent a few on to for the actual setup, but that's nothing. Now, the demos are inside that space, but we can actually use the space for other things. So technically speaking, we create some skills as well. But I'm not sure if I want to do that at this stage. The best thing is maybe to test the task. I guess that will give you a bit of an idea of how this task works. So I can click on conversations, and that's going to give me all the conversations that were created from this task. There are no conversations at the moment, but I will run it. So, and as you can see here, there is now immediately I have a conversation. Now, the beauty of the system is that I can see live exactly what's happening. Now, I can do this from here. There are some tools like live conversations that I can basically open up right now, and we can explore together basically everything in live. But you can also click on the actual conversation itself, and that's going to take you to where the action is happening. And we have also live activity, and as you can see, everything is happening live for us at the moment. Now, this is very useful for me, because I can do this pretty much from any computer on any browser. So it's very useful, to actually see what the nothing is stacked. So this is a big part of the platform, that we have added a lot of tools and a lot of capabilities to make sure that you have the confidence that this is working. And I can narrate in terms of what's happening here. You can see that it's basically trying to it's basically doing some activities. We've got the messages here, they're starting to accumulate, and we can also expand some of these just to see how they work. But let's give it a bit of time to basically see where that's going to go. Now, because we work inside the designer, we have the space file browser, where we can see obviously the files, but we can also have the task monitor, and the task monitor actually allows us to also see like what sort of like tasks are happening. So in this case, we have a single task that is currently running, that was started 2 minutes ago. And again, this is going to automatically refresh we can configure the refresh window. I mean, it's right now it's at 30 seconds. But as soon as it's done, it will show up somewhere here, basically. And yeah, let's see what's going on. Okay, so it's still running and it's still doing some work. I think I need to wait, basically. And as soon as it's done, we'll actually probably see a new demo. But keep in mind that we didn't actually give it any specific instructions in terms of what it will do. So I have no idea if it will create a new demo, or it will decide to fix an existing demo. So I wasn't very specific like that. But of course, you can see how, I can just basically fine tune a little bit the task, and that will effectively make it slightly more specific, right? But since we're in experimental stage, uh, it's not something that I'll recommend doing immediately. At least from my experience, most of the time I just allow for the process to develop itself. And by the way, while we're waiting here, this is a um, good time to kind of discuss very quickly that, in my opinion, working with customers and working with other people is that I feel that to a large degree, people expect these AI agents to work like a workflow tools, basically to automate stuff. But really, the way I look at them is not as workflow automation tools. I look at them more as a space exploration tools. I mean, they can still perform automations, they can still perform some work, but where they shine the most is when you actually give them the space to essentially discover what is possible. And that potentially will give you some ideas in terms of um, what you want to do with them. And that's why most of my agent systems initially are quite open-ended. And let's see what's going on here. So this is still going. Uh, so it's going to start basically maybe creating some additional work. We'll see. But let me give you an example while we're waiting of what I mean. Um, if I open up Arcade, this is using GLM 5.2 as a model, but I set up this space, and there's an agent behind it. You can actually see it here. This is the agent. It's public. You can clone it. But the idea of this agent is simply to come up with new games, right? And it creates the games, it sets them up on this website. Not super impressive, like in terms of a template. I'm not trying to make it look nice, but it has already created quite a few different games. And what I find really surprising is that this agent will eventually come up with very useful ideas, because it will exhaust the space at some point. It will start exhausting the space. And um, frankly, some of these ideas that I've seen here as games, I have never seen them before. So obviously I know Breakout, I know Snake. I've never seen Gravity Golf. Like, the concept of it is completely foreign to me. But I think it's a cool idea, Like, I think that this is an excellent, an interesting game, basically. Um, but it's just an example. What I'm trying to say is that if you don't give the agent the space to really explore and find things on its own, you are prematurely constraining the potential of that agent. So in my mind, initially what you need to do is basically allow it to explore as much as possible. And then once you know what you want, or once you know the parameters of the system, then you can constrain it. But initially you should basically explore as much as possible. Um, this is also why I would say is that maybe initially you could use like a cheaper models for that exploratory stage, simply because it will be more cost effective, right? So you want to find as much as possible. Once you find something good, that you want to do with this agent, then you can maybe change it or fine tune it, and like for example, find a better model, or find a better process, or even like a fine tune the harness the way you want it, right? Okay, so this is still going, and it can go for quite a while. I mean, it really depends on the agent. So 7 minutes. It's trying to build things. Right, let me see here what's going on. Actually, it has already created a new demo, which is kind of interesting. Let's see. So I'm going to refresh the page. It's not there yet, but I can copy that URL. It's already here. It's linked. Oh, that's cool. So this is, I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to do, but it's just another demo, I suppose. Yeah. Anyway, this is cool, and it just shows you that this is working correctly. And sooner or later, this task will get finished, and depending on the interval, the next task could start. So right now, I think I've set it up to do every day by default. I think I'll just leave it there for now, because I think that's what I want. And let me show you how you can actually now publish this on the hub. So the hub, it's basically this thing here. We have a few systems that are already present, but maybe you want to create another system and just publish it so that other people can learn from it. And it's a very easy thing to do. If you navigate out from the designer, um, this is the one which is called Kimi, and here I can set up um, the um, 1 second. Right. So here I can set up the hub options. So let me change the name. I'll call it the uh, demo bot, right? Okay. So I mean, obviously, I can use this to, I don't know, improve the description. We can add a slug. Let's add an icon as well. Maybe this, I don't know. And I'll call it 3JS demo bot. And by the way, if you click on share execution logs, you will make the conversations exposed to the public. It's kind of useful if somebody wants to see what's happening. Like, it's nice for sharing. It's also nice for troubleshooting. We automatically redact high entropy strings. So if there's any sort of API keys or anything like that, those are going to get stripped away. So if you click on publish, that's already being saved, and I can now click on this page and I can see my demo here. Well, not my demo, but this is my agent. And this is what it looks like. People can now clone it if they want to. They can see also the last interaction that we had with it. This is the task. So if I click here, you can see that this is all these are all the activities that happen or are happening at the moment. And also there is a link where you can click and get the demos, so I can actually now explore them. It's a nice way to make like a little website, or it can make a little a demo of something that you do. But actually, this can be used for serious work as well. So you could imagine this could be like landing pages. This could be like even entire application platforms that are 100% maintained by the agents. So what I'll do now is now we have the agent. We can continue interacting with it. We can also edit the backstory a little bit and make it more specific. I could also extend it with specific skills and instructions so that we can over time create really nice demos. One way you can do that is by simply giving it some examples. Those examples can come from like internet sources or maybe even GitHub. And I could continue improving on it, but it's going to take a little bit more time. And because I'm trying to explain this, I think that we're already over time in terms of what we have I have planned for. But you can certainly visit this URL here, which I'll share, and you can monitor this agent live because I'll keep it running hopefully forever, and it will come up with all kinds of interesting demos and hopefully something interesting that we've never seen before. So that's it from me. I hope that this was educational and you can see how the process behind of how we construct this agent systems. It's fairly straightforward. It does require a bit of knowledge in terms of, let's say, the different components, but um, once you spend a bit of time with it, then you will get the hang of it. It's a very simple process. So I'll sign off.